Hi, this is Cheryl St.Pierre of Majestic Wire Artworks, and in this video I am going to show you how to make these Angelique Cutsie earrings. And they're made with 18 by 10 millimeter teardrop either gemstones or crystals, and we're going to be mirroring them, so the top loops we're going to have to reverse them. So what I want you to do is take one of your pieces of, actually you're going to do both of these, but what I want you to do is take your ruler and bend it at 5 inches, which is 12.5 centimeters, and make it that right angle pretty close. Okay, and we're gonna make our loop for our earrings. Now you're gonna need one, which is a normal loop, and then you're gonna need the second one with the reverse loop. So I'm gonna just demonstrate a reverse loop. So a normal loop is you wrap this around, and by the way, you want the shorter part at the bottom. I forgot to mention that, sorry about that, because we need the longer part to make the loop, and it just has more distance to go. So a normal loop, you would go on this side of the wire, and a reverse loop, you have to go on the right side. So a normal loop, you go on the left side. Okay, and you want it, so you got your wire, you want that loop to be centered, and it's not, so I'm going to fix that. I'm just going to bend this over a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm just going to tighten up this bottom part a little bit. Okay, there. Now, to make it easier to wrap, this is the way it was on the pliers. I'm just taking it off, flipping it over, and we want you to wrap it 3 times. So 3, I mean, it's going to be hidden, but from the back, whoops, I got caught on the pliers. On the back, you'll be able to see how neat your wrapping is. So, yeah, good practice. Let's just make it nice and neat. Okay. There. So I'm gonna pause, and I'm gonna get you to make your other one too, so that you've got both of them, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and magically I have both done. So this is the reverse loop. It faces, the wire goes to the right side, and the normal loop, it goes to the left. So that's the difference. Okay, so the next thing I want you to do, we're going to do both of them almost simultaneously. I want you to make at the top a loop, but I don't want it centered over the wrapping. I want it to go beside, on the side that the wire was. Okay, and make it just about as tall as, as tall as the wrapping. And it can actually go a little higher if you want it. And now I want to do the other earring, and I want to try and match the size of the loops. Now that can be tricky. So I'm going to do this. I start holding it upside down for the other side just because I'm right-handed. I'm very strongly right-handed. Okay, so the loops, we want to make sure that they are close as possible. Now this one's a little bit bent. We will fix that. So this one's a little bit smaller, so we're going to tighten that one up a little bit. It's always easier to make one smaller than than to make one bigger. So because we want these to be parallel and it twisted a little bit, I'm just gonna go like that. And now I'm gonna see if they match in size as well. Still needs to be a tiny bit smaller. Okay. And that's pretty close. Now, I'm just checking to make sure everything's parallel. This one still looks a little bit off. Now, the next step is to put the beads on. And you can't really tell, especially with the beige background. This is pale pink. Not the peachy colored, but it's pink. And it's got an AB. So the next thing I want you to do is lock the bead in place. And so this wire is going to be wrapping around going this way. So we want this wire going this way as well. So the one with the loop on the left, we are going to be bending the wire at the bottom, just hugging it right up tight to the right. Okay, and with the other one, with the loop on the right hand side, we want to do the opposite. This is going to hug it around the right hand side, and we want this wire to go left. Okay. Okay, so I've got the one with the loop on the left, and I just wanted to show you how we have to hold that and bring this wire back a little bit, because we want it to wrap around the teardrop, but we want it to try and go directly beside the other wire so that the wires can join up. And we want it to hug the shape of the bead on this side. So that's kind of a crucial part of this design. And then we want it to hug up on the other side. So, and we want to keep these together. Okay. And then at about this point, so about 3 millimeters up, we want it to hug the shape of the bead. But then I'm gonna grab it, and I want to make a little loop right there. Okay, so it's like that. And we're going to stop at that point and do the same with the other one. Okay, so it's because we want them to be, I guess I'm a bit of a perfectionist here. Here, I just wanted to fix that loop a little bit. It was bugging me. Okay, so now the other one, we're going to do the exact same thing but in reverse. So we want to hold this down, and we're going to move back a little bit so it's at an angle so that we can match up the two wires, have them close. And now I'm working with this upside down so I can make the loop. And I want to try and make the loop the same size. Okay, now compare. It's a tiny bit bigger. So I'm just going to pull that a little bit tighter. Not much. Okay. Yep, that's pretty accurate. Okay, now we kind of want these to have the same angle. So this just needs to be up a little bit more, not much. Okay. Cat hair. It's amazing where those hairs get, hey? So now we want, I'm going to bring out the other earring. Now what makes these kind of give them a little bit more elegance is the fact that I've gone away from the bead now and done a, it's stretched out, and it just gives it some more body and fullness, and that really shows off the mirroring. So it's kind of important for that angle down there and the way it bends to try and get it to be the same. And that will probably be the most challenging part of making these earrings. Is just, well, getting these loops to be the same size, these loops to be the same size, and then bending up. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to bend the other one the same way. So we had, okay, we kept it the same. So you kind of, so is it the same width? It's pretty close. This one just a little bit more. Okay. This one's got a little bit more rounded at the bottom. I'm just going to pull this a little bit tighter. Okay. And then I'm going to pull it behind. We want it to come under this loop. So pull it behind. And I'm going to support it there with my finger. And I'm supporting this front loop too, and go in front like that. Yes, that's good. Okay, so we got that loop and it looks lovely. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing. These wires flipped on me. I'm trying to make them the same, so I got to do it the same. Okay, so we're going back, and now it's that. I'm just going to hold it there and compare. Kind of hard to do. Okay, I'm going to pull this a little bit tighter. There, now I can have the true comparison, but I can't do anything about it. And that's it, twisted up there, but you know what? It's going to be kind of covered because we're going to put a loop here, and then we're going to have these little things that covers that part, so it's not going to matter. And that's, if you're going to goof up there, that's a good place to goof up. but wire does have a mind of its own. So the next challenging part is to try and match the size of this loop with the loop we're making now, and we want it to be beside that loop. And like I said, it's challenging. Okay, so it's gotten a little taller. I'm just pushing it down, and there. Okay, and we want it to go in a downward slope right now, just like it is here. Okay, and now we're going to try and do the same thing with the other one. Like I said, that's a challenge because I got to do this upside down. Now I'm going to put putting pressure with my nail to start the bend. And how does that look? We compare the two. Okay, see how this one's sitting closer? I like the looks of that. I am going to try and push this back a little bit. Okay, to match. And there. See that this one's a little bit taller. So I just pull it down a smidge because it's a little bit, you know, it's flexible at this point. Okay, so I'm going to hold this in place, and actually no, I'm not going to do that at this point. We're going to snip it off first. We're going to measure from the bottom wire 1 centimeter, and we're going to do that with both of them. Oops, wrong side. So where it meets up with crosses over from the other wire, we want 1 centimeter, and we're going to snip it there. This can be clumsy at this point. Yikes. Make sure there's nobody in the that shot out. That shot out really well. I should have flipped hands and grabbed it or something. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. I'm going to snip the other one too. Okay, so I've got both of them snipped. So at this point, I would like you to remeasure them. Okay, so this one is about 9 millimeters instead of 10. And this one is 10 millimeters. So I'm going to cut off just a smidge. It's not even 1 millimeter difference, just a smidge more, because with this type of earring, it really shows up at this point. Okay, then the next step is you got to determine which one you're going to do inwardly, which one's closest to the top. Okay, they're a little bit different. You know what? It's not going to matter. I don't want to mess around with the design, but the top one we're going to trim off just a little bit more, about 1.5 millimeters. You could eyeball it, and you want to do the same thing for the other one. I pull them apart because I do not want to cut both of them by accident, because it'll ruin the whole earring. Okay. Okay, they're both pretty accurate there. Now, I want you to take your chain nose pliers, and we're going to do the 2 loops. Okay, so it's going to be like this, and you're going to take the very tip of your chain nose pliers. If you don't have fine tip chain nose pliers, you'll just have to do with the best with what you have. Although I do have the link of where I got these pliers, and they are from BB Craft. Whoa, sorry. Guess I was peeking over the camera too much. Okay, so that one's done. Crimp it in gently, just so it touches the other wire. I have a little bit of a snippet there, I think. And then do the same with the other one. Trying to stay in focus there, trying to stay in the camera. Okay. Whoops. I'm actually going to lift this up a tiny bit. What I meant by lift it up is like this. Just to be able to squeeze that in. Okay, and then I'm going to push it down with my nail. So at this point, we want to, if it got bent upwards from the work we've been doing, tuck it down. You can do this with your nail, or you can do it with the plier carefully. But I'm kind of doing both. And I'm just pushing it down, kind of making it hug the bead, like that. Make sure that there's no rough edges. If there are, we don't want to file it because it'll change the look. We're just going to take your pliers and just bend that down towards the bead a little bit. Okay, and now there's no rough edges that will catch on anything. This wire sticks out more to kind of protect that, and hugging it around the bead will even do that a little bit better too. Okay, so there's one, and now the other one. And we're basically doing the exact same thing but in reverse, just the opposite direction. So I'm going to bend this wire just up a little bit because I couldn't get the pliers in there. So using my tip of my pliers, the very tip, grabbing that end and bending it. Okay. And then the other one, I'm going to lift it up to be put back down later, just to be able to get at it. And now I'm going to bend it back down, push it down with my thumb, pushing this one in a little bit. Okay, I think the loop just bent a little bit on me. Putting it back in place and make this hug the bead a little bit. Okay. Needs a little bit of a tune up here. Okay, I see that this one's curled a little bit more. So I'm going to do the same with this. Each pair will be unique because of those tiny little things where the wire had a mind of its own. Okay, and now they're ready to put the ear wires on. Okay, so there's the ear wires on. And how do they look? They're beautiful. Okay, thank you for joining me in this tutorial. The next tutorial I'm going to make is the matching pendant. And I can see this wire here just sticking up a little bit more. I'm going to push it down. It's always good to do a little bit more tuning up. Okay, well, thank you for joining me with this video. God bless, and I hope you make lots of these. So remember to subscribe, and love for you to join my Patreon group where I challenge you actually to make the what's the word? to make the, okay, I'm going to send you supplies and the link to the video that it's for. And so it's kind of like challenging you and encouraging you to make the designs that I have chosen for the month. And I'm going to ask if you are willing to share your photographs of them too. We'll have to start a Facebook group or something, or email. Actually, you could email me the photos, and I can anonymously put up your photographs of anything that you have made. I just want to encourage everybody to do their best and try, and it's always good to stretch yourself. So anyways, God bless, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.